Hello students, welcome to the series of online lecture on chemistry in the part of MSc second semester, paper 4th, unit 2nd in the course of spectroscopy. I am Dr. Renu Nair, assistant professor in DP Wipro College, Bilaspur. First, starting in this lecture on NMR, we are going to give you some ideas about spectroscopy and the definition of electromagnetic radiation. After that, we will talk about the introductory part of NMR. The main objective of this lecture is to give you the concept of nuclear spin and its orientation. And we will discuss about the principle of NMR. Let us go briefly into the background of spectroscopy. Spectroscopy is one of the most important and powerful tools available for the study of atomic and the molecular structure, and is used in the analysis of wide range of samples. So we can say the spectroscopy is a branch of science which deals with the study of interaction of electromagnetic radiation with matter. The property of electromagnetic radiation is wave-like as well as particle nature. What is electromagnetic radiation? We can define it is a form of energy that is produced by oscillating electric and magnetic disturbance or by the movement of electrically charged particles traveling through a vacuum or matter. There are many types of electromagnetic radiation such as ultraviolet radiation, IR means infrared radiation, X-rays, microwaves and radio waves. Energies of radiation also varies in order from highest to lowest energy. The section of the electromagnetic spectrum are named gamma rays, then X-rays, ultraviolet, visible, infrared and then radio waves. Radio waves it is the part of electromagnetic radiation. Radio waves is the lowest energy and the longest wavelength and lowest frequency of any type of electromagnetic radiation. And now I am talking about the introduction of NMR. The full form of NMR is nuclear magnetic resonance. The method NMR was first developed by E.M. Purcell and Felix Bloch in 1946. In short, we can say the study of radio frequency radiation by nuclei is called nuclear magnetic resonance. NMR spectroscopy is the most powerful tools in determination of the structure of organic compounds. A wide variety of nuclei can be studied by NMR like carbon 13, nitrogen 15, fluorine 19 and phosphorus 31. Hydrogen and carbon 13 are the most commonly studied nuclei by NMR methods. It is important to remember here that this concept depends on the frequency of a spectral line, intensity of a spectral line and the shape of a spectral line. It is a well known fact that spectra given by all the form of spectroscopy may be described in the term of the following three important factors. While studying NMR, some of these important parameters have to be kept in mind. These parameters are shielding constant of nuclei and coupling constant of nuclei and lifetime of energy level. All the above properties depends on the molecular parameter of the system in the case of NMR spectra. Now we can define the definition of NMR. It is a spectroscopy technique which is based on the absorption of electromagnetic radiation in the radio frequency region, that means 4 to 900 megahertz, by nuclei of the atoms. NMR spectroscopy, as it implies in the name, involves the change of the spin state of a nuclear magnetic moment when the atomic nucleus absorbs electromagnetic radiation in a strong magnetic field. It will be found in those atoms or molecules who have an odd number of protons and odd number of neutrons. Elements with either odd mass or odd atomic number have the property of a nuclear spin. As I told you earlier, in nuclear spin, it is a very important part of NMR, and so you need to know about it. The nuclei of some atoms have a property called spin. These nuclei behave as if they were spinning. This is like the spin property of an electrons, which can have two spin, means plus half and minus half. Mu is the magnetic moment of a spin, and gamma is the gyromagnetic ratio, I is the spin quantum number, and h is the Planck constant. So we can define the nuclear spin. The total angular momentum of the nucleus is called nuclear spin. Now it should come to our mind that how is nuclear spin determined. For this, it is necessary to know some rules which are like this. If the number of neutrons and the number of protons is in even number, then the nucleus has no spin. But if the number of neutron and the number of proton is odd number, then the nucleus has a half integer spin, like 1 by 2, 3 by 2, and 5 by 2. There are some nuclei which are NMR active and some other NMR inactive. If the atom has atomic mass and atomic number, both are in odd form, such type of nuclei is NMR active. But if the atom has atomic mass and atomic number, both are in even form, such type of nuclei is NMR inactive. Hydrogen is the example of NMR active, and carbon 12 is the another type of example of NMR inactive. In this slide, we can see the random motion of spin is shown on the left side, because here the magnetic field is absent. So we can see that spin will do random motion in the absence of magnetic field. But on the other side, right side, we can see that spin in the presence of magnetic field will be either in the direction of the magnetic field or in its opposite direction. So the principle is based on the spinning of nucleus and generating a magnetic field. Without external magnetic field, nuclear spin are random in direction. But in the presence of magnetic field, nuclei align themselves either with or against field or external magnetic field. So all nuclei carry charge due to the positively charged protons located there. Sometimes this charge spin and generates a magnetic dipole along the axis of the spin. In the absence of magnetic field, the magnetic movements are random. When the field applied, they align with or against the magnetic field. They align with the magnetic field. It is known as alpha spin. It is the lowest energy state. and against the magnetic field it is known as beta spin. It is the higher energy state. It is the based on Boltzmann distribution phenomena. The population of lower energy level will be slightly more than the higher energy level nuclei. When proton is the alpha state, means lower energy state, is irradiated with the proper frequency V, it can go to the higher energy or vice versa. At that frequency they are in resonance. In an external magnetic field is applied the number of possible orientation calculated by the formula of 2I plus 1, and for example hydrogen has spin quantum number I is equal to half, so the possible orientation is 2 into half plus 1, that means 2, so we can say the plus half and the minus half. If an external magnetic field is applied and energy transfer is possible between ground state to excited state. When the spin returns to its ground state level, the absorbed radio frequency energy is emitted at the same frequency level. The emitted radio frequency signals that gives the NMR spectrum of the concerned nucleus. It is the energy level diagram. Higher energy state, that is the beta spin state, and the lower energy state, that is the alpha spin state. The emitted radio frequency is directly proportional to the strength of the applied field. So we can express this gamma B naught upon 2 pi. B naught means the external magnetic field and gamma means magnetogyric ratio. It is the ratio between the nuclear magnetic moment and angular moment. So the frequency of radiation required is determined by the difference in the energy level of the two transition state. We can calculate the transition energy and magnetic moment of the nucleus equal to gamma I h upon 2 pi. The difference in energy between two state equal to gamma h b naught upon 2 pi. B naught here is strength of the nucleus. When the nuclei absorb radiation, then the angle of precession changes and the radiation flips the magnetic moment so that it opposite the applied field, thus reaching the higher energy state, that means beta state. Only a small portion of nuclei in the lower energy state can absorb radiation and reaches the excited state. Such excitation will bring a situation at which the nuclei of lower and higher energy level will be equal and no more absorption of radio frequency occur. So let us think, how do the nuclei of higher energy return to the lower state? Since re-emission of radiation is negligible at radio frequencies, relaxation occurs only through non-radiative process. This is the spectrum of NMR, which is a plot of intensity of NMR signal and the magnetic field in the reference of TMS. Here we are getting two peaks by deshielded nuclei and shielded nuclei. Shielded shifts require a higher applied field and absorption by the nuclei in the up field or higher field in direction. But deshielded shifts require a lower applied field and the absorption by the nuclei in down field or lower field. So we can conclude and talk about the resonance of proton. If all protons were equal, then NMR would be useless, but they are not all equal. That means the frequency needed to achieve resonance varies depending on the proton's environment. Thank you for your attention. In my next lecture, we will talk about the chemical shift and instrumentation of NMR, spin coupling, spin constant, and application of NMR. Thank you.